Survivor Specialist Phil and Philin are back with our episode 2 predictions for Survivor Game Changers. This is going to be a load of fun based on the fact that we had two boots last week, and we now have a swap. So we really have no idea what these tribes are going to be. Redmond didn't post them, so I have no idea what the tribes are. I know one of them just because of the preview. Other than that, I'm doing this pretty much as blind as can be.
Exactly. We're going in pretty blind to this, so try not to be too mean on the comments. I think we tried as hard as we can, and we're excited to come up with these. Also, I guess now I'm just Phil-in. I'm not even Phil-in Alexa anymore. So
you can just be Phil-in.
Then it's just gonna be Phil and FILL next week, and you just slowly take me out of this.
It's just gonna be the Phil podcast. That's what we're working towards. That's what we want. This is going to be really interesting. We have a lot of comments, and we really appreciate all the comments. So I'm just going to say this now. Seems like we're going to have a lot more comments this year than we did last year. If you want to comment during the video, we're not going to read the live chat. Go on Twitter, tweet at us. We'll read them. Or comment on the last video, which was our recap for episode 1. The only thing is we're not going to read like double comments. You know, if somebody says pretty much the exact same thing as somebody right before it, we're going to try to keep this moving because otherwise the comments is going to go on forever. At the end of this, we're going to update the boot list, the prop bet, the winner game, all that stuff. We have everything updated, so you'll know where you stand in the fantasy games if you're interested, if you're doing good, and that's about it. So I think we should get this going with the very little information we have.
Let's do it. Let's put our educated guesses to good use.
Let's see what happens. I will say it at number 1, I have Troyzan. And my reason for that is not so much because I think he got a great edit last week, because I really don't think he did at all. I rewatched the episode, so I'm a little clearer on it now. But there's just something about Troyzan and how he's like kind of quiet, like in this whole thing. He doesn't really try to say who he really feels needs to go. He's really good at kind of following the lead. And I think when there's a swap like this, he's not going to be the first one to get rid of. Yeah, he's older, but he's not weak. And I just don't see any way Troyzan goes, especially after getting one confessional in the first episode. I think this week we're going to lose somebody who had a lot of screen time in those first episodes.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there were definitely clear favorites in terms of the edit, and clear just, we had to make sure that we got them out there. But Troyzan, I think, is a pretty good pick for number 1. He's, he'll be great in challenges. He seems very likable. I know a lot of people, were referencing his One World game and that he could maybe be a little abrasive or aggressive, but he and Sandra got along perfectly well, talking about the tides and the crates in the middle of the night while Tony was stalking them. But I think Troyzan's a pretty good choice. I think he's likable, do well in challenges. I think going into this swap, because it was such a quick swap, there aren't any major allegiances. I don't think people are afraid to start moving around this early, and I think that'll benefit everyone.
Yeah, and especially somebody like Troyzan, who really didn't seem like he made much of a relationship with too many people.
Yeah, absolutely. And also because most of the votes were, the 2 votes were almost unanimous. So, everyone was just going into it together. There were no party lines or anything. So it'll be interesting to have smaller divisions among tribes.
So who do you got at 1?
I have at number 1, who I never expected I would put at number 1 after the first week, but I have Sierra Dawn Thomas. I don't see her as being any kind of threat. I think, she's been very likable. We didn't see much of her in the first episode, but she had that advantage, and I know she won't be using that anytime soon because she can only use it with 13 people left or with 6 people left, but she's not a liability in challenges. She's not, she's not a Sari, she's not a Sandra, she's not one of the big names. Easy to get along with. I don't see anyone feeling the need to vote her out if their tribe of 6 loses. I think she would be a very good person to pull along so that someone bigger could take out who they wanted.
Yeah, I got Sierra too. I just don't see – there's never going to be a situation this early where she's going to try to take control and get booted. She said she wants to make big moves, but I don't think she's going to do it now. Like, I think she'll wait a little bit, so I have her at 2. I think she's totally safe.
Yeah, I think she's smart enough to know when to strike, especially like we talked about last podcast. If all the big names are going to go out in the first couple episodes, she has time. Let that ride out, and then she can strike later on.
Yeah. Who do you have at 2?
At number 2, I kind of went a different route. I went with Malcolm at number 2 because he's in a different situation than Sierra. I wouldn't call him the leader because Sandra was the show last week, but he was in a strong leadership role. He was not afraid to voice his opinion. He was not afraid to either go with Tony or Sandra. I know he ended up going with Sandra, but he's in a really good spot. You can't vote him out because he'll do fantastically in challenges. Super likable. He went into this not the biggest threat, but definitely one of the bigger names on this cast, and people are really meshing with him, and there doesn't seem to be too much of a threat of him going home.
Yeah, I worry just a bit for Malcolm, and my only reason, and what we're going to see is I have pretty much everybody from the tribe we know in like my bottom 8 or 9, because I just find it so weird that they only showed us that one tribe. That was all we got in the Next Time On Survivor. That's the only preview we got. All we know is that tribe. So it's almost like building up. We didn't even see like a little glimpse of anything else. And I know they do a lot of like, you know, red herrings and all that, but I just don't. It's just very weird to me that there's so little around all the others, and everyone on that tribe. For anybody who's curious, in case you saw the preview and didn't put it together, that tribe is JT, Aubry, Sandra, Varner, Malcolm, and Michaela. Now,
and JT is so much in the odds that he quite literally just ditches them.
Yes, and like my thing is like JT didn't get much in the first episode, but everybody else did. And like I really feel like somebody from this tribe is going to end up going home just because, one, that's all we saw, and they're really not the strongest tribe. I mean, they have Sandra and Jeff, Varner. Like that's not exactly helpful. So I worry a little bit for Malcolm strictly for that reason, and that's it.
Yeah, I could see that because it's such tight quarters, and when you have, I'm curious to see how Sandra pivots after her previous episode. Is she still going to go on this warpath and just gun for JT, or Malcolm could turn around and say, hey, why don't we get rid of Aubry, or why don't we get rid of Sandra? I could see Malcolm there. I think that's why I'm not too nervous for him. JT, I am not feeling too confident about. I know, like you said, there are a lot of red herrings, but they were the focus of that preview, and I think they're going to get a lot of screen time on Wednesday. So that's why for the other two tribes, the people who are on the other two tribes, I have them pretty high up because I you know, Survivor didn't tell me to pay much attention to them, so they'll probably do perfectly fine in this episode.
Yeah, which is why, I mean, I'll just kind of run through these next 3 because I don't have really much to say about any of them. But 3, 4, 5, I go Brad, Ty, Andrea. And the only one I really have anything to say about is Brad, and that's just because I feel like he actually, on a rewatch, he got a very positive edit. And I thought he got positive the first time, but rewatching it was so small, but it was very positive. People seem to be taking a liking to Brad. It seems like he's a little humbled by the last experience. Then I go Ty just because why would they get rid of him? And Andrea, she was, as everybody wants to say, she was the purple edit. Guys, it's 1 episode, 2 hours long. Give it a second. She's not going to be the purple edit. Andrea will get plenty of screen time. It's going to happen. A lot of people didn't get much screen time this week because Sandra and Tony owned so much of it. So Andrea's going to be fine, and there's no way she goes this way.
I mean, I don't really see how Andrea got the purple edit either, because I know she got the episode title. I know that really doesn't say anything. I think I read that Cece got the episode title once, and she didn't say too much last season. But you know, I think she'll be a good narrator, and I like Andrea. I think she'll do well. But why show Andrea, who's on the 2-time winning tribe, when you could show Tony and Sandra yelling at each other? That's what the people want to watch.
Yeah, and that's really what it came down to. JT and Andrea were the two who were the most invisible this episode. JT and Andrea, they both have huge fan bases. They're not going to get purple edits.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Yeah, my 3, 4, 5 are Sarah, Troyzan, and Brad. Kind of the same conversation. Brad, I forgot to comment on this earlier. Brad had kind of a cute edit. He was caught in a lot of kind of cutesy, funny moments. I don't know if I talked with you about this, but they were talking about naming the chickens and the black one because Monica has dark hair, and that's something that definitely didn't need to be shown, especially in the premiere. But it was so cutesy and kind of funny, and it's a very different Brad we're used to. So, you know, I don't know if I'm completely sold on him, but when I first saw him on the cast, I was not pleased. But I'm already a lot happier with him.
And I just want to say, for anybody who's been listening to us since the beginning, that might be the first time that a giant man, an alpha male, has been described as cute on this podcast. So you can thank Alexa for that. Maybe that's going to be a new trend. We'll talk about the cute edit, because I don't think Will and I ever once mentioned the cute edit.
I feel like Ty got a cute edit last season.
I just don't think we worded it that way. This is new lingo here. This is good.
Cute is a very fun term.
So okay.
So yeah, I went Sarah, Troyzan, Brad. They don't seem to be on the losing tribe. They're all, decently likable, good in challenges. Yeah, we can move on from them.
Yeah, so I go 6 Ozzy, 7 Sarah. My reasoning for Ozzy, he actually seemed like he was getting more of the positive than the Suri, even though, okay, this could go both ways. And I know I got a little bit of heat for this. Because I said so much that Suri got like owned by people. I just think Suri came out looking worse than Ozzy in the situation. Yeah, she looked like she like figured it out and all of that. But Ozzy, he's still the strongest out there. There's no way they're going to get rid of him this early, especially now that it's going to be a smaller tribe. Because if you lose, you really don't want to lose again because you get rid of your strongest member. You can go every time. And I just think he came out a little bit more positive than Suri in that whole situation. And Sarah, I don't really have anything to say. She seems like she's going to come out as the villain. So that's really it.
Yeah, I think as a result of the edit, or maybe this is how it just went, in the Suri verse, big quotes around the Suri verse Ozzy there, but Suri comes out so hot. It sounds like they get on the beach and she immediately talks to Ozzy, thinks it's worked out, clearly it hasn't. And we get a montage of just Suri talking to everyone, saying, we're good. And she isn't really offering anything. She's just saying, I won't vote you out. We're good. And that we're good just is what she leads with. And that comes off as a little bit forced. While on Ozzy's side, we're seeing him, JT, and Ty are just kind of wandering around by the well, casually hanging out. So that they definitely edited that to make him seem much more relaxed, and she's the one scrambling, probably because that is what's happening. But yeah, he did get much more of a positive edit, and I really did think it would be the other way around.
I think the thing with Suri is, and you were talking about how she says we're good to like lead. Suri is a new school player. She's a strategist through and through, but she has an old school way of going about it. People used to just walk up to each other all the time, be like, we're good. Okay, no, we're good. Like so blunt. And that's not how it is anymore. Everybody's trying to be super sneaky, and Suri is still very, very sneaky. She proved that when she goes and talks to Ty. She's talking to everybody about the Ozzy thing. She was trying to round up her troops. She knows what she's doing. She's just very blunt when she's talking to people who might not necessarily be on her side, or even when she's trying to pull people in. People aren't always like that. And JT was the same way when he was laying on the bamboo. I forget who he was talking to, but he was like, I like us. We're good. Like, we're good. Whoever he was, I think it was Ozzy. He was just like, we're good. And it's just such an old school way of going about it, even though they're new school strategic players.
That's a good point, the old school versus the new school, because I guess it's up to me and they're like, yeah, we're good. I'm rewatching Samoa right now, and I'm watching Russell say we're good to trees. So, to me, that's not much of a sell. Where's the relationship? Especially when we saw last season, Adam had relationships with people. So I think that's what I'm used to seeing, but because this is such an intense, this is going to be such an intense, fast-moving season, I think it's just, okay, if I make eye contact with someone and we smile at each other, we're going the distance. So maybe that's the move that Suri's trying to make. And again, I said this last week, but this tribe swap is, hopefully, assuming she's on a tribe with the right people, but she needed a mix-up. The only problem is there's a 50-50 chance that, assuming that we know what the new Nuka tribe is, there's a 50-50 chance she's on a tribe with Ozzy. In that situation, things aren't looking so hot for her.
Yeah, they're not. I just think right now it's okay. If you're on a tribe with Ozzy, it's not great, but it's also not bad because you should finish second place every single time if you have Ozzy on your tribe. You should never be last. Yeah. And I know that was wrong in Cook Islands because his small tribe went to tribal right away. But I just feel like if you have Ozzy on a small tribe, you shouldn't lose.
Absolutely. So you had Ozzy. I had Ozzy a little bit lower. I go Caleb, Zeke, Andrea, and then Ozzy. Sorry, I just threw 4 people at you. Ozzy, I guess he's the one that I find they need to justify the most. I have him a little more middle of the pack because I think there are going to be people saying Ozzy's going to run the table. He's still a Dolphin. He's how many years removed from Cook Islands? He is still such a challenge threat. And getting rid of threats. They got rid of Tony. They got rid of him without batting an eyelash. So that's the only thing that holds me back on being confident in Ozzy. It sounds like he is in all the pregame stuff, he was saying how much he wanted to work on his social game. Everyone really liked him. Again, we didn't see much of the Nuku tribe last week, but people had, no one had anything bad to say about him. So I think he is in a good spot, but on the off chance someone says, no, he's got to go, then I think it's no questions asked, he goes home.
See, I get your Ozzy point, and it's funny because I have Caleb at 9 where you had him at 6, and it's kind of like I kind of feel like Caleb right now is fine, but he's almost so passive and so yeah, I'll just go with it. Yeah, I'll just go with it. Like he says he's like hanging out with Tony, and then he votes out Tony. So I just feel like that guy to put him so high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think it's weird. I don't really know. Caleb, I don't really have a read on Caleb still.
I don't have a read on him, but the reason that I have him Ozzy is because he's not the athlete that Ozzy is, but he'll definitely do well in challenges. So people won't get rid of him for that reason. So why would you get rid of Caleb? Mm-hmm. He's proven that he'll kind of just go at the moment. He'll go with the flow. That he and Malcolm, they wanted to be in the majority last week, so that's why they voted Sandra. Or it's not Sandra. Gosh, they voted Tony out. But yeah, I don't love him, but I don't see why you would get rid of Caleb.
No, you're right, and it's the whole small tribe thing. I mean, I'm pretty confident my top 9 aren't going anywhere. I have Hayley at 8, who I think, not for nothing, and we didn't mention this on the podcast. When Hayley did the swimming part of that challenge against Ozzy, she was not that far behind Ozzy. I know she still lost to Ozzy, but she was not that far behind Ozzy, at all. She's actually, it seems like she's a lot stronger, and really her no-collar tribe wasn't a very good tribe. That's why they lost so much. But between her, she was still a good challenge competitor. So I think Hayley actually is useful on a tribe, and she's got the whole "I'm not a threat" thing still working for her, and she's gonna have that working for her for a long time. So I've heard 8, Caleb 9, and then Zeke at 10. We didn't talk about Zeke when you said him at 7.
Yeah, I have Zeke because he's proven that he could easily assimilate into a group, and that was a concern of ours going into the season. And he. Maybe he's so starstruck and he's still just, loving staring Sari deep into her eyes. But he's easily assimilates. He's not great in challenges, but he's not going to be – I don't see him being the reason that they lose a challenge because they'll probably stick him on a puzzle and he'll do fine just like he did last week. So those are kind of my side points. But my main point with Zeke is that he's down to make a move. He's totally down to either be a swing vote or to do something crazy and vote out Ozzy or whoever. And so he won't be the one going home. I think he'll be highly involved in the person who's going home.
Sorry, yeah, no, I agree with you. For some reason in the comments here, they're saying that my mic's not working correct. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if I'd call it white noise, but you're a little squeaky.
That is very weird. Okay, well,
is your mic plugged in okay?
It's plugged in fine. I don't know. Let me ditch the mic real quick, I guess. Because if I still sound crappy.
Phil, you sound beautiful.
But what do I really sound like, though? Be honest.
I'm still hearing a little bit of cracking.
That's really weird. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's every time you're talking. Maybe you should stop talking.
There's static. Okay.
Yeah, static. That's the word I was going for. Thank you.
That's the word you're looking for.
Thank you to whoever said that.
All of them. They all know the correct word. Okay. Well, let me see what happens if I ditch the mic. So give me a second here.
I can't hear you. Uh-oh. So we're waiting on Phil to fix up his mic. There you are. Now it's done. Now I can hear you. I was about to say, I'll take the lead if I have to.
I mean, you can if you want. What do I sound like, though?
You sound great now. Whatever. Try talking again.
Hi.
Gorgeous.
Okay. Wow. I guess I'm going. I don't know what's going on. All right, moving on. Where were we at?
Who knew that just unplugging and replugging the microphone would work so well?
That's insane.
Did you give me your number 9?
I gave you my 10 because we talked about Zeke.
Okay, then my number 10 is Hayley for similar reasons. I'll need to rewatch that challenge because I didn't see her I guess I didn't pay attention to her because whenever Ozzy's doing a challenge, that's who I'm going to watch. But the bar on comparing someone to Ozzy is so high. So the fact that you said that she wasn't that far behind him is very impressive. So I'm definitely going to give that a rewatch and see how she did. But yeah, I don't think she could necessarily be perceived as weak. I think she obviously didn't, I guess similar to Brad, she didn't have a overwhelming edit by any means, but when she was talking, it was in a very positive light. So I think that says a lot about her longevity.
Yeah, I think she's fine. And she had the whole weird ending there where she started talking to Jeff, and it was like, hey, like, thanks for the paranoia. And that's like, they don't really show things like that. And like, that kind of gives me like a good vibe for Hayley.
I like that because also everyone, I know we already talked about this, but everyone's been pretty sassy with Jeff so far. And I appreciate that she did that.
They should be sassy with Jeff. They've been around long enough. Yeah. This is what always happens on these return seasons.
Actually, this is a very good segue to my next person who I have him this high, but I have Jeff Varner up next. And I'm rewatching, I forget which challenge it was. It might have been the first Immunity Challenge, but Jeff Varner is struggling with, he's doing the keys, and he fights, so Jeff Probst says something to him. Jeff Varner says, no, I'm not, don't say that. And then Jeff Probst, who usually just kind of giggles, fights back at him and goes, sure looks like you're struggling. And that was fun because it's usually not that long of an interaction. But I guess Jeff Varner's been around for quite some time, so he can get away with it.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you have him where you have him. As sassy and great as he is, I'm really surprised you have him so high.
Strictly for the sass. Yeah, I don't really know why I have him that high. I think especially because he's not great in challenges, but on that weird tribe, he weirdly might not be the worst. Sandra might have the cake on that, but having JT and Malcolm, I don't know. I think they might be able to carry him a little bit, but I think I have him this high because I don't think he's going home, because I think in that tight group, all we talked about last week is how he was laying low. He was letting other people call the shots, and when someone told him to vote, that's what he did. And I think he will do that again on this tribe of strong personalities. It's the only reason I think he's going to last on that tribe. Yeah,
and you know, my whole fear with Varner, and I have him like almost at the bottom. My whole fear with Varner is he was very visible in that first episode, survives the 2 boots, goes to a smaller tribe. I still think you got to get rid of Sandra before you get rid of Varner, but I don't know. He's still weak. I mean, he can't do anything. He unlocked keys and sat on a snake's head.
And got stressed while unlocking those keys too.
Yeah.
You make a good point about him having a strong edit last week. I guess I didn't take that into consideration as much as I should have, but he was no Tony or Sandra, but he was definitely in the peg below, along with Malcolm and maybe Aubry or Michaela. And look at those people I just mentioned, and look at what that tribe's going to be. So they're definitely going to lose the challenge. Someone from there is going home, but I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. Or no, I hope I'm right. I don't want to go.
Yeah, you hope you're right. I have Michaela at 11 and Aubry at 12. So I'll talk about Michaela, and then Aubrey's my first of the tribe that I think is going to lose. But Michaela, she just I feel like she's gonna be fine for at least a little bit. But my biggest problem with Michaela is people caught onto her temper so quickly while she was trying to hide it. As the days go on, as she gets hungrier, as she gets more tired, she's gonna get louder and louder and louder. It's gonna be rough for her. It really is.
I have Michaela lower because I'm not sold on her. I think you're right. They caught on so quickly. She made that face, and immediately people were like, whoa, Michaela, what's your deal? And I think she's the only saving grace is that she's going to be on a tribe with people who already know her. AT has some weird freak out or some explosion. It's either going to be her or Sandra who fights back to him, and she needs to lay low. She's the one who said it. She said, I need to keep my mouth shut. I can't lie. I know, but she said that, and then the whole Sierra thing happened. So sold on her. I have Debbie and Ty before I have Michaela, which is something I never thought I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, Ty's not in danger, so when you do power rankings, it's good to put Ty towards the front for this. But Michaela, I think she's the safest on that tribe because I think that if her attitude stays up, Sandra's got an attitude too, and like they might say, well, we got to get rid of Sandra first. And if it's a weak thing, they're definitely not getting rid of Michaela. And I think JT and Malcolm will honestly want to keep it strong. I think they will honestly want to keep their tribe strong.
I think you're right. And I think we touched upon this last week, but because it's a small tribe, Michaela finally will be able to prove herself in challenges because we didn't get the challenge beast of last season. So that will definitely work to her advantage. That definitely puts her in a decent spot in the small tribe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have.
And then
I got
go ahead.
I go Debbie, Ty, Michaela.
Okay, so 12 you have Debbie, then Ty, then Michaela.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said.
So
right?
who's your?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay. I have Aubry at 12, which I kind of said. I think Aubry last week was in a little bit of danger because like Tony, she kind of like went a little bit with Tony. But I also think like if you look at this tribe now, it's going to be 5 of the original Red versus JT, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that's going to have too much of an effect on JT, but like I could see them being like, well, we should use Aubry. We should keep Aubry around because she's one of the originals. Or really, Aubry just seems like she's going to try to play with some of the bigger players. If she's willing to play with Tony, she's willing to play with Sandra. So I don't know. I still feel weird on Aubry, but I'm not as scared for Aubry as I am for Sandra, JT, Malcolm, or Varner. Like, which sounds ridiculous, but Malcolm was so big in that first episode, and Aubry was kind of like, remember, you're coming off Co-Wrong, where she was like the fan favorite pretty much. And then she comes and she got some, but she didn't get all that much in this episode.
And she was she's not a subtle player in terms of how she plays, but she's subtle in the way that she talks. She's very calming. And she was very subtle even last week. She was, very quiet in the way she was talking. I think she knew she was part of the Threads Alliance that lasted for 7 minutes, but I think she knows to stay a little quiet. She might even, how many weeks after Co-Wrong was this? So she might even
So
still
this was
be
a while
small.
after Co-Wrong.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I think she knows that she is the last player that they saw before they went out there. So I think she knows that she has to lay low a little bit. I'm just afraid that if they're not going to go for Sandra or JT, Malcolm might turn around and say, okay, fine, we're getting rid of Aubry.
Yeah. So I have Debbie at 13. I don't really have anything really to say about Debbie. Debbie's just kind of like, Debbie's just Debbie right now. She was funny in this episode. She's quirky. She's still Debbie. I don't think she's going to win. I don't really think she's in all that much trouble, but if she gets on a tribe and she's not that strong or she blows a challenge or something, they really got no reason to keep her. So based on I don't know the other tribes, I only know the one, I'm worried a bit for Debbie. I just put her a little low because she can rub people the wrong way so easily.
Yeah, she definitely would be able to. Next up, I have Sari. Because I don't think Sari.
You have Sari at 15? Or you're ahead of me, so I need to.
Oh, sorry. Why don't you go first?
Well, the only one I had left was I have Malcolm at 14. And that
Okay.
I have him way lower because he was so big in that first episode. He was very arrogant, and although it comes across as like pretty positive because it like kind of worked for him, it's still very arrogant and like they could be setting him up for a downfall. So I'm like, if that tribe loses and Sandra's like, yo, that guy was going to try to get me out. He was the dummy who was trying to side with Tony. I could see them pulling one on Malcolm, not caring that the tribe is weak, and Sandra and Varner just being like, all right, let's take over this tribe. The two of us, the two weakest here.
Yeah, that's actually, you make a good point about Malcolm not being in that original big quotes here alliance, because Malcolm was the one who quote unquote flipped over and ended up voting with Sandra. So I don't know. I mean, if Sandra and Varner are going for the let's make the weakest tribe possible move, then yeah, Malcolm's your number one target, I guess. But yeah, he was very arrogant and he had a major edit last week, so I totally get where you're coming from on that. I have Sari at 15. So, I don't think sorry, finish your sentence.
No, I have the same thing. I have Sari at 15 as well. She's also my eliminator pick this week. And it's ballsy, but I'm going with Sari for my eliminator.
I think the only reason Sari is a decent pick is because her tribe is probably not going to lose. Not that I still have her this low, but we've already talked about her. I'm just really not feeling great on her. I think we haven't seen her newly svelte self in challenges do particularly well. If she's on the tribe with Ozzy, things, she's going home. No question asked.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to lose, and that's why I'm doing it now. It seems like they're setting her up. Either she's going to make some great comeback or she's going to get booted out, without ever being able to make a move. But I just don't think it's going to be this week based on we don't even know what tribe she's on. We didn't see anything about her in the preview. It seems like that's probably going to keep building for a little bit. And she's not going to go this week. So I'm going to use her. I think it is risky, especially if her tribe does lose. I think she's doomed probably. So it's a little bit of a risky pick, but I don't know. I want to use her now because I don't see her making it all that far. Who was your eliminator? I don't think, did you say yours yet?
No, I didn't. I actually should have said her and I mentioned her. My eliminator is Michaela. Kind of for the same reasons that I have her where she is. She could be in a relatively safe spot in this tribe because in this tribe that is still, even though it's only 6 people, Sandra and Malcolm, three of the bigger threats on the season. So why get rid of Michaela, who we don't even know, and will just shut up and listen to us and vote where we tell her when we could get rid of someone else? So that's why I'm going with Michaela. And I'm picking her this early because I'm not really sold on her. I was so high on her going into this season, but I want her to learn how to play this game with these big personalities before I have more confidence in her.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And so those are our eliminator picks. I've only heard from one person so far. So if you are listening and you're one of the people competing in the eliminator pick, get them to me by Tuesday so we can keep this moving forward. If you miss a week, you're just out because it's just not fair to everybody else. So make sure you get yours in. And Jimmy, I'll give you another shout out for getting booted week 1. All right, I'm going to kill mine now. I'm going to kill mine. 16 JT, 17 Varner, 18 Sandra. Reason for JT being 16 is he's the only one from original Nuku on this tribe. He's a huge threat. He's somebody that Sandra could easily gun for if she can somehow get the numbers. It looks like he's going to be making some sort of move where he brings them out into the ocean. That could rub them the wrong way. So I think JT is in a bit of trouble. And then I got Varner and Sandra. Varner at 17 because he's weak. And I got Sandra at 18 strictly because she's Sandra. I mean, how does that tribe lose and Sandra make it another tribal council? If she makes it another tribal council and they lose, it's just crazy. It's just too good.
I have Sandra in the same place, but you think that they would get rid of Varner before they'd get rid of JT? I don't see that. I think they would get rid of JT because it sounds like, 1, he's totally on the outs, and 2, he's probably pissing them off. So why get rid of the weak guy?
Well, listen. So if JT does go and find an idol, because somebody has an idol in their hands coming into this episode. It looks like it was Ty's hands. That's like kind of what it looked like.
So you think it was Ty? I think it's Troyzan's hands.
Yeah, it was either Ty or Troyzan. It's one or the other.
Because it looked like older hands, definitely male. They looked bigger, 50s. And Troyzan's just a larger male than Ty is.
Well, I think it's one of them. But my whole thing is if they think JT finds an idol and you can't boot JT and somehow Sandra brainwashes people or does her anybody but me, Jeff Varner goes. He's the weakest one. I could see it happening.
I don't know. I think if JT does have an idol, then Malcolm would hopefully – I just assume that Malcolm is the one running the show. But I think Malcolm would have the foresight and hopefully get rid of Sandra because he wasn't on the Sandra train really last week. He was on the I want to be in the majority train. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he has any allegiance to her.
No, hey, we'll see what ends up happening here. Who kill your ranking? Who you got 16 to 17?
I go Aubry, JT, Sandra. So exact same reasoning. It was just funny because if we're not in a season of returnees, you have Sandra who just absolutely crushed it last week, and she is dead bottom for all of us. So yeah. I don't know, but she's surprised me already. So who knows?
We'll see. I mean, she killed all the haters, that's for sure. So anyway, before we jump into the comments, I'm just going to break it up real quick. That's our power rankings. We did our eliminator. We did our power rankings. MVP was Sandra. LVP was Cerise. So Will gets another 3 points. Alexa, you lose 2. Yeah, so it is what it is. Before we do that, I just want to jump into the boot list and the prop bet thing just real quick. I'll roll through it. So boot list, if you have 0 points, you're in first. Everybody, there's a lot of people with 0 points. That's pretty much it. The people who did donate have -5. they donated to the Kickstarter because they got the bonus for doing that. So they're actually ahead of you. But if you have 0 points, like that's the best everybody's doing. There's a bunch of people with it, so it's not that crazy. With the prop bets that hit this week were #blindside was Sierra. Sierra voting out her mom was Varner. Most confessionals in the premiere was Tony. And anybody who's wondering if we're counting that as 1 or 2 episodes last week, for the purpose of our prop bet, it's just one episode. That's all it is, just one episode. So even though JT didn't get confessional in the first hour, he still is in the running for confessional in every episode that he appeared in, because we're just counting it as one. Sierra didn't even get her final words in. So we're just counting this as one premiere episode. 10 plus confessionals is Tony. He's the only one who hit it. A hashtag was Brad and Tony. Last vote read were Varner and Malcolm. No word went to Jeff with no word after being voted out with Sierra. And then confessionals in every episode so far are Tony and Sierra because they were booted. Keep an eye on Sari. She sat out 1 challenge. So if you have her for sitting out 3, hopefully she sits out 2 more. And pretty much there's like 100 people with 6 points. I don't know how so many have 6, but it worked out really well that the top 10 all have more than 6. So the top 10 right now are Patrick Cook with 8, Greg Dua with 8, Mr. Yoshi Fan 3 with 8, Adam Heinrich with 8, The Spooky Elf with 8, Maurice Lang with 7, Mark F with 7, Carol Jovanelli with 7, Raider 980 with 7, and Corey Gibble with 7. So really I'm rooting for the Spooky Elf. I apologize to everybody else in there, but I want them to win.
I was about to say, I'm pulling for the Spooky Elf. If only Sir Squiddington and Jar Jar Minks, my other 2 favorite names, were in this top 10 as well. So I still have faith.
Jeez. I mean, I just love it. I love it.
Shall we get to comments?
Let's roll into comments. And I think I'm going to try to bounce around between Twitter and the episode thing just to kind of break it up a little bit because I know it can get repetitive. So let's get this rolling. We start off with let's see here. I'm trying to see what's a good one to start with here.
Pick a good one, Phil.
Well, Gamer Girl asks, who do you think Sierra will give the legacy advantage to if she gets voted out before Final 13? So now here we are. It's early, but so far, if Sierra somehow goes before Final 13, make your bold prediction, Alexa.
Oh, gosh. I can't even think of off the top of my head who she made a meaningful relationship with because we saw so little. That's a really great question, Gamer Girl. Andrea.
Why not,
Let's
right?
go with
Because Andrea
Andrea.
tripped over it.
I'm going to go with Andrea because Andrea lifted up the crate. I know Sierra probably didn't notice that it was Andrea who lifted it up, but I think it would be a very cool bookend if to Sierra's game, which apparently ends before the Final 13, which is really screwing up my power rankings. Mm-hmm. But how cool of a bookend would that be, that Andrea walks over that thing 9 million times and then ends up getting it?
Right? I mean, that would be funny. Like somehow it ends up in her hands anyway. I don't see Sierra going before Final 13. I just don't see.
But that's what I got. Who are you going on that, Phil?
Oh my God. I'll say she gives it to who's on her tribe. She's gonna give it to Ozzy because he needs it. She just knows he needs it. I have no idea who she would give it to. It's way too early. It's a tough. We'll see as it goes on. I don't think we saw Sierra talk to anybody. You know, she gives it to Brad Culpepper. That's my official answer.
She gives it to the chickens.
Yeah, she gives it to Monica, the chicken.
Right. What would Monica do?
Exactly. So Giovanni Oriana asks, do you think there should have been another legacy advantage for the Mana tribe? And I don't think so because this was a mosh at the beginning of the game before anything happened. And if you give 2, that's just too many free idols being handed out.
Yeah, and especially because Jeff was saying at one point, there's going to be idols. I think the direct quote is falling into your lap. It's going to be idols at tribal. It's going to be idols at challenges. Sounds like we're going to see a lot of idol activity. So too many wouldn't be very fun. And also, yeah, you make a good point. She didn't find this on her beach. She found this on the shipwreck where, everyone else was hanging out. So good for her for being the one to pick it up.
Yeah, like we don't need to see free idols given out. It's easy enough to find idols out there. We don't need free ones.
Yeah, you gotta earn it.
Dalton Ross posted a picture, which I thought was hilarious. When he was on the island, he found the clue for the hidden immunity idol. Nobody on the island found it, but he found it.
That's hilarious. He should be on the season.
Yeah,
that's a game-changing move.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe he stole it, and that's why nobody can find it. But anyway, let's see here. This is a question that I have seen a couple times, so I'll read it out here, but we're going to try not to read every Giovanni in a row. But do you think Redemption Island would have worked out for this season? Imagine Tony trying to spy all over Redemption Island. My thing is, Redemption Island is always bad. Even on a returning season, if you're voted out, you're voted out. So, I mean, it would have worked because Tony would have brought gold at Redemption Island, but I don't know. You just don't need it ever.
That's what I was going to say. The only reason I'd be okay with it is because we'd get more of Tony being ridiculous, but I don't like Redemption Island. It's always a terrible idea. I like Exile Island, especially with that shipwreck that's sitting out in the middle of nowhere, but no, Redemption Island would not have been good.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna move around over here. I'm not gonna read all the MVP votes just because it's too like.
Did anyone have curiosity? It sounds like Sandra Bynaway was the MVP, but was there anyone else who was in the running?
I think Sandra's the only one who actually got votes.
Wow, good for her. Too bad she's going home next week.
Yeah, right. Like, and she's gone. So we have, where should I go? We have Wences Acosta. Oh wait, Gregory Fuller. Did Tony tell the rest of the players they all suck if they let Sandra win again when he was leaving? Pretty much, yes.
What did he say? He said lamb. He said what? Lamb, sheep to the slaughter. Lambs, sheep, some form of goat. Yeah, he definitely said that as he was.
But we're gonna find out this week.
That was a really good segue. He definitely said. I think it was as he was walking towards Jeff. He said something like that.
Yeah, and
he made it. He made a decent point.
He really did. And I feel like I was reading Tony's exit interviews, and he said he really knew he had no shot. Like, he looked for that idol for 6 days, couldn't find it, and he had no shot. He's just had such a target on his back going in. And he said he doesn't really hold anything against Sandra. He said he went out there, he went way hard. He tried to get her, and he got played.
Tony was in such a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So
yeah,
I'm glad that he went crazy because at least he was fun.
Yeah, and it was great with him because, like, he even said, like, all the people he screwed on Cagayan, he can't get mad over Sandra getting them. Like, he can't get mad at that.
He can't get mad. He was laughing at every single person as they got their torch left.
Exactly. I mean, like, when Russell cried during Redemption Island, it's like, dude, you, like, ruined people's lives for, like, 2 straight seasons. Now you're going to cry. Like, Tony gets it. All right.
What's up next?
Let's see. So we have Wences Acosta. At the last tribal, we may quote, "The queen stays queen, say hi to Sierra, but will anyone appreciate the Hayley Jeff interaction?" Or heck, even Malcolm sounding like Xena when impersonating Tony or Brad and Debbie, debating which chicken was Monica. I don't understand that last one, but
yeah, there was a disconnect. I don't know.
No, I just don't know.
I loved it. I know. I know Sandra was the queen of the tribal, but I thought Hayley's comment was funny. I thought that was super funny, and we talked about that a couple times.
Oh no, people are appreciating that. I mean, the whole chicken scene did get overlooked with them, like, naming them, and I really didn't even catch that the first. Like, I watched it, and then you just forget about it. Then you watch it the second time, and it's really funny. Like, Brad had so many little dumb moments.
Yeah, especially because when the first thing that I noticed in the chicken scene was when Debbie said Ty has a history with chickens that is sketchy, and then when JT made the comment about the chickens, but then when you look back and see Brad saying, "Oh no, we used to name the dark one Monica because of her hair," that's so funny. That was great. I'm glad we still get moments like that and not just straight strategy talk.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know we don't get them enough, I don't think, but that was cool. We have Nick P. Sandra versus Tony was epic as hell. That second episode, one of the best in a long time. We all knew the showdown was coming. It was everything we wanted. I was expecting and hoping Tony would come out on top tonight. Sandra remains queen. She is some player, let me tell you. That woman is good. She didn't convince me on Pearl Islands, and even on Heroes vs. Villains, she didn't convince me. Now I'm convinced. Go after Sandra, you lose the game. Tony, one of the best winners ever, got owned because he messed with Sandra. She is dangerous. I think she may be the best player of all time now. To see Tony go out in that way after fighting as hard as he did, that was something else. God, I love this show. And
wow. I feel the same way about all of that.
Exactly. And, like, normally I wouldn't read the whole comment for that, but I just feel like that's how the entire community, like, feels right now. Is, like, anybody who doubted her, like, they still aren't sold that she's going to win this season, but they're just like, wow. Like, how do you, like, she just owned that.
I don't think there are many people who are sold on her winning the season. But what I will say is I've seen a lot of people saying this. That Sandra Tony showdown, we are so incredibly lucky that we got it. And now it makes me want so much more than ever an all-winner season. Because even on an all-winner season, Tony is still probably target number 1. But at least everyone's going in on it. It's not just one winner versus one winner. So, and also they probably would possibly maybe potentially last a little bit longer, but yeah, that whole episode just made me want.
I didn't hear what you said at the end, but yeah, that
I just said it made me want 20 winners on an island.
It does. No, I completely agree. I mean, Sandra and Tony, I mean, obviously they're probably the two most competitive ones right now, just because it's like in their heads, and one's the queen and one's Tony, you know, coming off his win. But imagine like Hatch with them and all that. I mean, that would just be insane. That would be like a dream. We saw it kind of work here, guys. I know it was only 2 episodes, but we saw it work. Now we can make it happen.
Jeff has said he's interested. He's definitely interested. He said something, it was in a recent interview, that funky comment, it was, we don't have 20 good winners, which I wish he could have elaborated on, but I know that wasn't where the conversation was going. But yeah, I don't know. I want it so badly.
I completely agree. Let's see. We have
Grammar, Phil.
Oh yeah, these are fun. So pretty much here's the whole thing. We have a lot of happy comments towards us, and then and then we have like a lot of new listeners. We have a lot of angry comments. So like pretty much, if you're gonna be mean to us or like be mean to like other people who comment, I mean, we really don't want to read your stuff because that's kind of like obnoxious. But these are kind of funny. So you got Orange Mandarin. You guys have pretty bad memories. Like you can't remember who said what at all. I mean, it was a 2-hour episode.
That's also, he's not wrong. I have a bad memory. I'll take it.
Oh, no,
he's very not wrong.
I'm just like warming up, because they start getting real good pretty soon.
Yeah.
So we have Alex Day says, very confused about why you think Sari is screwed. Ty saw through her lies. That never happened. Sari was saying to Ty how she thought she was safe and her and Ty are good, and Ty was hesitating and saying yes because Ozzy and JT have been targeting her. He was not saying him and Sari aren't good. It was a hesitation to admit that Ozzy is still talking to Sari. I think you misread the situation completely. And I think that's a really good point.
I think we did misread it.
Yeah. What'd you say? Wait, say that again?
No, I remember reading that comment, and then I rewatched it and said, oh yeah, Ty never said he didn't want her. But actually, this is relatively unrelated, but I saw something on Reddit today. It was on Ty's face, but just all these numbers and symbols. And it was like when Sari asks you a question and you don't know how to lie, and he is just absolutely dumbfounded. It was so funny.
Yeah. And it was like, wait, what was the other one too that you showed me on Reddit while we're talking Reddit? What was it?
Yeah. So it was Die Cherie, and it was the gif of Debbie throwing that pumpkin and almost decapitating Sari.
Classic.
If someone ever says something to me that like relatively displeases me, I'm just gonna send them that. Just like, go die. Just like, here's a pumpkin.
Hilarious stuff. No, I think we did misread it. Alex Day, you called us out, and I think you're right. But I think
I'm totally down to be called out if, in a nice way, if we're wrong, call us out. But sometimes we're not always wrong. We forget things here and there. But I think, Phil, we're pretty smart. I think we know what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I like the constructive criticism. This was constructive because I'll tell you what, with this one, with this situation, I think what we were focusing on, and I think what I'm still focusing on, is we were texting each other during this episode, like, what the hell is Sari doing? And then this just kind of happened. But at that point, it was already so, like, all over the place with Sari that I was just kind of like, man, it just keeps getting worse. It didn't really click with me. Like, yeah, Ty, but Ty's not the best person to have on your side either because he flip-flops like crazy and he's really not all that, social. Well, he's social.
For sure. Yeah. I'm going to give Alex the credit here. He was right. Good job, Alex.
There you go. So, Alex, you got your moment there. Yeah, so he also calls out that Michaela was throwing because that's more of her strength than lifting. My only problem with that is anytime you have somebody who's strong at anything and then you have Jeff Varner, you use the person who's strong at anything.
The answer is never Jeff Varner.
Yeah. Yeah. We have Magnum Cyclone X. Props to the calling it a spy grave. I really wish Tony had more time to establish himself in finals with the caliber of players he never got a chance, nor the time to really be free. So sad Team TV won't be on our TV the rest of the season. Love that Brad's quote was the first hashtag of the season. Very loving and dedicated to his wife. I hope he lasts long enough to the family visit so Monica can come out. I saw
If Monica
Spygrave
comes
in
out,
the
they
comment
crush that
section.
challenge together.
What? Oh, the two of them? Oh, yeah, they would kill it. They would kill it. I just have to say, I saw Spygrave in the comment section of a Rob Sester of the RHAP video, and I got really excited. I think somebody might have said they took it, or they might have created it as their own. I don't know if they listened here, but I got pumped when I saw Spygrave over in the comments of RHAP.
I like Spygrave, and it's also, I mean, we already talked about this, but what was it? 3 feet from the well. It was so close to the well.
Well, Tony did say that they moved camp, so he started like digging it and had more time, and then they moved camp over, so people were going to the well way more often.
Oh, wow.
Anything more with it.
Rest in peace to the Spygrave and to Tony.
Rest in peace to the Spygrave. Right, I'm going to clean up these Twitters here. Gamer Girl, who do you think will get screwed by the 3-tribe swap? I think Sari and Ty, no matter what tribe they end up on. I hate to say, but I think Jeff Varner might get screwed again.
I think Sari, it's either going to save her or screw her. Again, I'm not so high on her. I would have said Sandra that she's on. That's the only reason I think she has a glimmer of hope of staying.
And I don't even think, like, the biggest problem with, like, using Sandra here is, can Sandra really get screwed by the swap? I mean, she's going to be a target no matter what happens. If there was no swap, she'd still be a target. So I don't really think she got screwed.
Like, can Sandra get screwed at all?
Yeah, exactly. And, like, Malcolm is somebody who could be screwed by the swap here. JT is somebody who could be screwed by the swap because he wasn't in bad shape on his tribe. Now he's the only one there on his, But Varner, I think he gets screwed by the swap because he actually makes relationships. And then every time he swaps, he just ends up somehow, on the weakest tribe. And they are catching a goat, though. In case you guys didn't notice, I know there's so many people who are angry at that preview. That's the same question, Giovanni. T-Rex wants to know, what is the ideal swap scenario for Sari? I think it would be Zeke, Ty, Michaela, Aubry, and Varner. What do you think? Honestly, I think it
definitely involves it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it just means keep Ozzy away.
I mean, yeah, keep Ozzy away. Zeke and Michaela. Well, Zeke, absolutely. Michaela is also pretty needed. You have those. If you have those two and you don't have Ozzy, a Sandra, because last time I mentioned Sari needs someone of equal threat level, but I'll just pregame stuff. But Sandra and Sari seem to butt heads a little bit, so maybe I don't want them on the same tribe.
Well, and Sari would do very well with Zeke too. I mean, Zeke was like loving that he was sitting there with Sari.
I think you need like a Zeke, Michaela, like Hayley or Sierra, something like that.
Neutral people.
Yeah. So because Sari is someone people who Sari can take the lead on.
Exactly. But who are also like neutral to her personality and not, overblowing or whatever.
Sure.
Noah G wants to know, how long do you think until one of Ty's chickens gets eaten?
Oh, I think they're good. I think his chickens are in much worse shape than Mark the Chicken was last season, or not last season, in Go Wrong. I'm so impressed Mark lasted as long as he did, probably because Ty guarded him with his life, and now he's got 3 chickens to protect, and there's only 1 Ty.
Yeah, no, I agree. And tribe swap, he could end up not with the chickens, and then it's bye-bye.
Oh, that's true. And I believe Debbie describes them as Angus cattle, so people are hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we have Gamer Girl. Could Malcolm and JT be allies or rivals? And I think that's really what's going to come down to this tribe, depending on who's going to take over. I think Varner and Sandra are going to stick together because Varner, I think, wants to use Sandra as a shield as far as he can. Sure. And then I think Malcolm and JT, if they side together, then the strength is probably going to take over that tribe because Michaela will probably go with them. But it's going to be interesting to see if Malcolm and JT actually get along or if they kind of butt heads because they're such strong personalities.
Yeah, I don't know. I envision them, well, just because of the little that we saw, I envision JT pretty much alienating himself. But like we said earlier, Malcolm is not super tied to Sandra. So that's the only reason I could see him moving over. And I feel like people would rather go far with JT than they would with Sandra in terms of threat level, because JT is seen as a less of a threat than Sandra. Does need someone. She does need a shield because he's a threat. So JT, I think, is an equitable comparison. So that's why I could see them working together. Or maybe Malcolm just because he's JT and he won.
I mean, it could be. JT is in such a weird position. That's why I have a hard time still seeing him go this week, because he's still in such he's still such a positive person for every side to have him on. But it's just a weird swap. Let's go to the last one here on Twitter. John Kavikongas. No idea. Where do you think an idol later in the game may possibly be hidden at Tribal Council? Maybe underneath the voting urn table or in the urn. And I might put it on one of the stools or under one of the stools.
That's what I was thinking.
So you have to get it while people are right there. They might cut a slot in one of the stools where nobody's going to look, and somebody has to pull it out in front of people.
Because the stools are where you spend the 95% of your time. I know we only see 10 minutes of it, but they're spending hours there. The stool would make sense. I think it would be cooler or if it is. I don't know if it's in the urn, because do we ever see someone do more than just drop it in the urn? I've never seen anyone look at it. Maybe I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But maybe kind of hanging somewhere if they have just a bunch of things hanging, or because the voting area is in that room, maybe it could be hanging on the wall or sitting on a table in that room. Somewhere where you kind of have to know that it's there. And I hope that it's there, because people will probably walk by it and not know it's an idol.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you looked. Did you look at that piece of paper that was in the hand? Did you read it? Yeah. It was so descript. And I feel like if they hide one at Tribal, it's going to be just as descript.
That's a good point. Yeah. That is super descript. Yeah, it was it even showed an area. They even showed a little X exactly where on the, what is it, a table kind of thing? Right in between where the leg and the body of it.
And it's that's a good, you want to grab it. I think they would do the same thing at Tribal. I just think that they like it, the same reason they do it in the middle of the challenge and not somewhere after or before the challenge, them to have to grab it while everybody's right there. So I can see them hiding it at Tribal. If you're going to get an idol at Tribal Council, you better earn that thing, and I bet they do it right in the middle of everybody. But
in terms of the stools, think about the seating arrangements. What if do I have to go back to Tribal Council the next week and hope that I'm sitting in the next spot?
Yeah, I don't know how they do the seating arrangements. I don't know if they predetermine it.
I feel like they predetermine it, but I don't know. That's the only reason I'm not sold on the stool, because sometimes I feel like they definitely put people in certain positions. That's why I'm not sold that it's in a stool. But a stool would be, especially.
Well, they could also say it's under your stool.
It's not your stool if it's oh yeah, okay, that could be a good point. It would be cool if it was under the stool in front of you or the stool next to you, because then you have to actively make a movement.
And how crazy would it be? And I know we're getting a little off topic here, but how crazy would it be if at one point somebody does this and they have this clue and it tells them it's in somebody's stool and they know they're going home that night and they just blatantly pull it out right in front of everybody? Because they're going to be looking and they're going to grab it and somebody's be like, wait, what was that? Because then you really don't have anything to lose. So I just wonder, if you're not going home, do you take that risk if it's right there? If you are going home, I'm at Tribal now and now I have an idol.
If you are going home, that would be such a cool move. That would be awesome to watch.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Yeah, if you're not in trouble, that's a tough one. But you have to. You need an idol in this game. If you're feeling safe, especially on this season, then something's wrong.
Yeah,
you gotta go for it. If there's an idol next to you, you gotta get it.
Yeah. I agree. You can't pass up opportunities like that. We have Gamer Girl. Who do you think is this season's invisible edit?
Everyone seems to think it's Andrea.
Yeah. Andrea had a confessional right at the beginning. I don't know why people thought she had none. She had a confessional right at the beginning. She had a couple moments when she was at the thing. Yes, she was the least seen hour premiere, but it wasn't really a 2-hour premiere. It was an hour premiere and then an hour second episode. Her tribe didn't lose either. So they pretty much made sure everybody got a little bit of screen time tonight. And they have to, every time somebody gets voted out, and especially if it's going the way that we think it's going to go, where the big characters are going to get voted out instead of the little characters early on, they're going to give all the time they can to these big characters who are going to get booted that might not play again. And if Andrea goes deep, they might say, well, let's get more Sandra time in than Andrea time. And I think that's just really what it came down to. Brad Culpepper had one confessional. Troyzan had one confessional. Like, I don't think this means anything. A lot of people only had one.
Yeah, in the first, I mean, yeah, you're right. It was a premiere and then an episode. Because they're trying to just show every single person who's in this premiere, but I don't know if anyone will have a full-on purple edit because this is a season of returning personalities. I don't think there's anyone who's going to disappear. There's not going to be a Sunday, where you are non-existent up until the moment that you're gone. I could see Sarah being quiet up until the moment when things get big, or maybe Sierra, especially. She might, they'll probably bring her up a little bit around the merge time, or as soon as she makes it to the final 6 around that time. But I think it'll go in and out. I don't see one person.
Yeah, and it's like heroes versus villains. Like Sandra was getting the purple edit pre-merge. I mean, her and Tyson and Courtney got nothing. And like Courtney and Tyson go pre-merge. Sandra had like a run of like 4 or 5 episodes where she had 0 confessionals.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But now Sandra's the star of the show. They're gonna be, as long as Sandra's here. Oh, Andrea. The show's here. As long as Sandra's here, and they gotta milk her for as long as they can. Yeah, she's gonna be talking a lot.
Exactly. That's I think that's a very good point. RT Dizzy, I'm so happy for you guys. It's been a pleasure listening along and watching your community grow. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Because there are some negative ones we're going to read, so we'll read some positives too.
Also, I can't take credit. I also can't take credit for it because I've only been hanging out here for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. You can take a little bit of credit. Take him while he's not here.
I'll take all of Will's credit. He's not here.
He didn't do anything for this thing anyway. All right. We have a gamer girl saying her biggest surprises are Varner, Culpepper, Troyzan, and they're all redeeming themselves so far. And she asked if there were goats in the original Fiji season. And this is a good question because this episode looks like it's going to focus on goats. And then when you had Will Wall with the goats, why all of a sudden, like, are they just like able to find goats? And not for nothing, they look like they're going to kill the goat? What kind of meat is goat? this is a serious question. Do people eat goat?
I mean, I think people eat goat. In this situation, yeah, they'll eat goat. They'll eat anything. I don't know. I mean, killing the chickens, they've made, because chickens have been on Survivor for so long, I'm sure they found a humane way to go about it. But I'm trying to think of what other major animals people have killed. What did Tom catch? A shark on his season?
Oh yeah, and Scoopin killed a shark.
Oh, okay. That might be the closest thing we've got. I don't know. I don't want to see them kill a goat.
He was wiping the blood on his face.
That is just disgusting. I'm just
saying, like, because I've never.
And we should have who's going to be the one to kill it? Who's going to be the one to kill this goat? I don't know if I have it in me to kill
JT.
A goat.
He's a country boy. He's ready.
That's true.
Hungry. It's not going to be Varner. He doesn't look like he wants it. Just very interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me to kill a goat. Maybe if you stick me on an island for 7 days and I'm starving, but wait, I don't know. I don't know if I'd save it like Ty, but I'll eat it. Someone else has to kill it.
Wouldn't cause any problems. I just would be like, I don't know. I'm not gonna. I would maybe eat it. I just don't know. Like, what would it taste like? Has anybody ever eaten goat? This is a serious question.
Oh, I've had goat. Yeah, it was good. It had a lot of spices on it. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure to them it tasted like meat. It tasted kind of gamey. It was good. I recommend it.
There you go. See, you could have saved me a lot of explanation there.
I know. I was too little, too late on my thought there.
Yeah, seriously. Let's see here. We have Patty Renshaw. Michaela better work on her expression. She seems inflexible on if wanting to take over in the challenges. Also telling people why she's back because she's strong in challenges. It's not a good thing. People will target her if she's not learned from her past season. Not good at Survivor gameplay. Social game. And I think she's right.
She can't. Yeah, Michaela. At least Michaela warned us. I think in her first confessional, she says, "I can't lie," and her face is so expressive. You could look at her face, and it gives everything away. So that will be a problem for her. Absolutely.
I completely agree. We didn't talk about it, but you don't tell people that you're strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really just don't, unless you think that they're perceiving you as weak, which I don't think that's the case. I think
they just don't know what to do with her.
Yeah. We have Kelly M. I'm worried about Sandra. I'm also super disappointed that Sierra found the legacy advantage. She has no business being back, and this is obviously foreshadowing a deep run by her. Snore, to which David Gideon replied, Natalie Anderson could have gotten it because Natalie Anderson was supposed to be on, and Sierra took her spot. So,
Natalie Anderson.
How does that make
it? That's, I don't know. See, I'm okay with Sierra being on the season along with the other I kept using the word premium players last week, but I'm okay with it because I want her. I want Sierra be fun. I want to see her do something crazy and strategic. So I'm happy that she got it. If Tony got it, actually, now if Tony got it, that would have been also amazing. But it would have been very different. Now we're going to get to see a part of Sierra that we probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. So that's what I appreciate about her having it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. Whatever. Let's see if she can play the game. I mean, she played okay in her season. She's got overshadowed. So let's see what happens here. See, we got Raider 980. I thought exactly the same thing with Sandra at the end. She was doing so great, but that's going to hurt her game big time. And I think Sandra is having fun with it, but I do think she overreacted a lot there. Like, she was just so loud.
She was, I mean, in the moment when he was walking towards Jeff, that was fine because they were within close quarters. When he's gone, he's like going to get Wade there. She's still screaming at him. So at that point I was like, oi, I would have loved to see the looks on everyone else's faces while she was screaming at him from that far away, because maybe it would have been like, oh my god, how did we keep her here? She's going to take over our lives and brainwash us. But I guess she already brainwashed them, so it's no reaction now.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's like, did we already pass the point of no return? Could it have happened? The Real Negro asks, sup guys, do you think when the tribes go to 3, they'll eventually go back to 2? And this is something 2, 3. Cambodia went back to 2, right? Or did it not? I can't remember. Wait. Wow, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, who's the one who said
this is bad?
Who's the one who said we can't remember? We are proving their point right now.
This is terrible. I can't.
Someone in the live comments, help us out.
2. I think they will go back to 2. I really do, because
they don't want. Because I don't think they want.
Oh, now we're doing that.
Now all you, Phil, talk.
I just don't think they don't want a situation of like 6-2-6. They don't want that again. Like, they're not going to let that happen. I mean, think about it. It happens a lot. And yeah, they did go back to 2. I remember them going back to 2 in Cambodia because
did someone just remind you?
No, they didn't. But I just think they did, right?
Yeah, I could see them doing that also just to keep things exciting, because if we just keep things the way they are, we're going to lose Sandra, we're going to lose Tony, we're going to lose our big names. So if you switch things up, make a bunch of different side alliances, it's more fun for the viewer. I get it. Yeah, I can see them doing that.
It is. I hope they go back. Let's see. We have the great quote from Tool MGR here. If you're going to do it with Sandra. And then he puts 3-time winner. It was great. It was great.
And she said it, so the way she said it was hilarious too.
Yeah.
Do it with Sandra.
Yeah. We have Leo in YouTube, who has a lot of good insight here. It's just so long. So I'm not going to read all of it. It's just so long, but it's a lot of insight into it. But Leo, be nice to Stephen Lawrence, okay? It was a joke. It wasn't serious. Will's not confirmed to win season 35. Calm down. That was scary.
Obviously confirmed massive spoiler.
What's up? I completely missed what you said. Anyway.
Oh, I said sorry. I said, I guess my internet is bad. I said massive spoiler alert.
Exactly. That was a joke because Will's not doing the season.
Huge joke. Will is not on Survivor.
Exactly. Loki, let's see here. Loki Lokinen. Who do you think will find this idol?
Which one? I feel like there's a lot of idols.
Well, I guess the one that they're
this specific one. I think we kind of already talked about it, but there was a huge Reddit thread that went super deep, like with previous screenshots and stuff. And that person boiled it down to Brad and Troyzan. It's definitely a male. The hands are just more male. They look a little, I don't want to say wrinkly, but they look a little older. That's kind of why we were saying Ty and Troyzan. But because of this relatively not a negative edit that Troyzan is getting, that's why I think he's the one who will find it.
Initially, I thought it was Troyzan's hands.
Yeah.
So I think Troyzan is going to find the idol. That's what I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Him or Brad. I don't think Ty's going to find an idol. I don't think so.
Yeah. Loki Logan also says Sandra's strategy has always been playing the anyone but me game. Now she took some charge. How will it affect her game in the future? This time.
Oh wait, I don't know. I think it's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. Let's see here. Man, sorry, I'm like going through a little bit, calling through. See, here's MTH. Phil got it so twisted by calling Suri a train wreck and saying that Ty saw through her lies. What the whole point of that scene was that Suri was able to discern that she needs to scramble based on Ty's face. So yeah,
Phil, you're a train wreck.
I'm a train wreck. It's all right. Jeff Steinberg says if you rewatch Worlds Apart, Sierra's actually playing a great game. She just got screwed by being forced to have Dan as her closest ally.
I mean, yeah, you can only do so well with that situation.
That's a rough one. Ad Wanted Paradise. If you watch Suri's first and second season, her magic comes in the merge. She's always in trouble pre-merge.
That's true. But I think we talked about that because she was on the older women tribe in Panama. And again, talk about starting off in a worse position. But this time she's just coming in so hot. She's already scrambling. And when she kind of didn't have to, I guess she did because she found out that Ozzy wasn't totally cool with her. But I don't know. I hope she's a slow burn. I really hope so. I don't want her to go. She's my favorite player.
I mean, I just worry it's like the heroes versus villains Suri. But
yeah.
Now we have the comment of all comments. John Bohannon, I dislike you guys.
At least he knows how he feels.
Yeah,
I love the
I
constructive
laughed so hard
criticism.
when I read that one. I'm not even kidding.
It's just so to the point.
It's very to the point. Okay, let's see here. We have we are skipping a lot of the comments. I said, it's long. Bro, Chacha Survivor, do you think that instead of giving the sympathy spot to Caleb, it should have been given to Terry Dietz? How do you say it? It's Dietz, right?
Oh, Dietz. Oh, would have loved that.
Kind of think it should have.
Also,
I don't know if Terry. I wonder if Terry wanted to. Terry already had a fan base built in, and I would have much rather seen Terry go out there, have a chance to finish a game. I don't think he played great in Cambodia by any means, but it would have been nice to see him go out, be able to finish the game, and work with somebody like Troyzan and Terry. That would be the most ridiculous old uncle alliance of all time.
The old uncle
they would just
that,
be so obnoxious.
The old uncle alliance that kicks your butt in Thanksgiving football after dinner.
Exactly. And then they talk about it every Thanksgiving ever after.
And then it's like the only thing that they hold on to.
Exactly. And they go to work and they talk about it, and the next time they see you, they talk about it. They tell their friends about it. It's just that's what it would be. I
would have liked him to be replaced with Terry because he might have been more of a, not that there was too much pandemonium, or no, I'd say there's a good amount of pandemonium in their tribe, but not that Caleb added to but Terry would definitely be a bit of a calming force and probably is a little bit of an old school player. So he might have kind of just been caught up in the moment and be like, oh my God, what's happening? But maybe if Terry's on their tribe, they win a couple more immunities because we've seen that Terry's quite the challenge threat. At least he was in Panama, which was now many moons ago.
Exactly, but he still did fine in when it was that Jeremy versus Savage versus Terry. Jeremy's the one who lost.
Yeah, good point. And Jeremy is arguably probably the strongest one there. But he
won the game.
Yeah.
Let's jump here.
So who's the real winner here?
Yeah, exactly. I would say Savage. Okay. We have Wences Acosta. Between Malcolm, Ozzy, Caleb, and Michaela, who's going to be the physical beast?
Oh, Malcolm.
You think so? I think Michaela is the strongest competitor out there.
You think Caleb is? Or Malcolm?
Yeah, I think Michaela's the strongest challenge competitor out there. Malcolm's not that good at challenges.
I don't know. Yeah. What was the other options? Caleb and Ozzy?
Yeah. Caleb, Ozzy, Michaela, Malcolm.
I mean, Ozzy, I guess, would be. I don't know. If Michaela's going up against Ozzy, then I think Ozzy wins. It depends what the challenge is.
I don't know. I just think Michaela
But
right now is in the prime.
in terms of competitor,
Michaela's
we're
in her
going to use
prime. Everybody else a little fat.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ozzy's an old man.
He's in like late 30s now, and he definitely doesn't look like the Ozzy we knew in the first two times.
Yeah, my mom texted me. She was like, "Oh my gosh, my boyfriend Ozzy looks so he did in Cook Islands."
Like nowhere near. That's not the Ozzy we.
And JT's got a little bit of JT's got a little gut going on too.
A little bit. That's something. Okay, this is something I just want to say.
We're gonna talk about
JT never played before. Let's say JT had never played before, and this was an all newbie cast, and he comes out there. He's got the bandana on. He's still got his chipped tooth from when he did it in Token Cheese.
And he has $1 million and he couldn't get his tooth fixed.
I know, and he's got the beer belly now, and he's standing there, and he's just kind of like, man, like I'm hungry. I want to eat those chickens. I want to eat the goats. Like whatever. Like considering his character, like if you had never seen him play before, because I'm serious. Like to me, he would come across as like he's gonna be the loud, fun. I know he's not, and like just the image of him standing there, like talking about the goat, cracked me up. Like it just cracks me up.
Also, in all the preseason stuff, all of his photos, he's kind of just like looks confused. Like he's not smiling or like cheering or looking really. He's just in every photo, he looks dead inside, or he looks extremely confused. It's very weird. It's not the JT that we're used to. So I'm excited for next week because it sounds like a JT centered episode.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like we're gonna go back to like the real JT, not this like. I mean, he just looks like the country boy who's just on the show because he has like the Wes. That's what it seems like right now. It seems like JT's the Wes, and we all know JT is not Wes. Right. Let's see here. We have Yoni A, who first he calls you super cute, which there's two cutes dropped in this episode.
How many times have people said cute in this podcast before?
Way too much. Not before tonight. It wasn't very much, but now it's too much. And then Yoni A says, enlighten me. Why did Tony vote Aubry instead of Sandra? And why did Sandra vote Aubry and not Tony? For this. So
I don't remember. I need to rewatch it again third time. But I think Sandra was kind of going for the mob boss kind of thing, where all of the minions actually vote for Tony. And she kind of throws away her vote. I don't know why Tony voted for Aubry.
I know why. I know why. So I'll say it now. So they told Tony they were going for Aubry. He's like, as long as it's not me, I don't care. He wanted to work with Aubry, but he's like, as long as it's not me, let's vote her out. And Sandra did it because she wanted to make sure that if Tony had an idol, Aubry was the one to go. And I think Sandra wanted to be the one who voted for Aubry so she could tell Tony, like, I even voted, for you after I made sure that you went home.
Yeah. It was a cool vote, though, because they both voted for Aubry, and they were the only people who voted for Aubry. It was funny how it shook out, and Aubry looked terrified, absolutely terrified.
Yeah, she did. Okay, where did this? Hold on, I had to refresh the page to get some of these back up. We got Brian Johnson. I want to say I was devastated that Sierra was the first boot with her throwing out Caleb's name. I thought it would have been a genius for them to get a co-wrong player out at the first vote. Would have been huge. Sucks. Really rooting for Suri this season. Awful.
Yeah, rooting for Suri. Yeah, all there. Great. But everyone was kind of freaking out about the co-wrong 4, but I think, again, we'll see come Tribe Stop, but see the co-wrong 4 making this big alliance. Debbie and Ty barely interacted. Aubry and Caleb didn't necessarily interact either. Yeah.
Like Debbie and Ty, like Debbie and Aubry are never going to work together. Like.
That is absolutely not happening. Caleb and Ty, because I know they had their cute little bromance. Oh my gosh, I need to stop saying the word. They had their bromance.
They could end up on the same tribe. We could get them on the same tribe here.
I know, and that would be fun. So we could finish what we started previously.
I didn't even think about that. I completely forgot. That'd be cool. All right, moving on.
That would make Caleb a little more. Not that he's unlikable, but it would make him a little more relatable because anyone interacting with Ty, it's automatically a very enjoyable scene.
Yeah, exactly. We have Dennis O'Connell. Hey, guys, do you think this would be the most entertaining returning season out of the 4 they had? Feel cast-wise, it would be just fun because although they may not have been great strategic players, I feel like they will be great fun to watch. We don't need strategy 24/7 like Cambodia. Mm-hmm. Heroes versus villains is always going to be the most entertaining, I feel like.
It'll be pretty darn entertaining. Heroes versus villains, I think.
I just don't see this topping that.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. Cambodia was way too much strategy, but I think, yeah, heroes versus villains, that's a tough.
Yeah. Matt Warpecha, do you guys think the hashtag WWMD is foreshadowing Brad going Final 3 or winning? I think it's foreshadowing him getting second place.
Him going to Final 3 and getting only 1 vote.
Yeah, I think that's what it's foreshadowing. What would Monica do? She'd get to Final 3 and get 1 vote.
And says he's a neat guy.
Yeah. We have, let's see here. We have Giovanni Rihanna. I like this. With Tony and Sierra out, there go two faces of making big moves on Survivor, which is so funny because Jeff always says you have to make big moves to win, and the two people who make the biggest moves, arguably,
are gone. Michelle Fitzgerald is cackling in her seat somewhere.
Right? Only if they would have been quiet.
If only Tony didn't speak.
Right? Let's see. We got CVB. Who do you think will get Purple Monica edit this season? I love how it's Purple Monica now. So many purple. We talked about purple now. I just like that it's called Purple Monica now. It's always Purple Kelly. Now all of a sudden it's Purple Monica.
Yeah, it's purple. No, now Monica's purple. We need a purple chicken.
I think they meant Monica Padilla. That's how purple she was. You forgot. But anyway, Boosh Bear.
I did already forget. That's how purple she is.
Boosh Bear, my favorite. Do you guys think Suri and JT will eventually align?
Ugh. That assumes they both make it to a point where they're on the same tribe.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it doesn't seem like they're going to here. And then that would mean they'd have to make it to the next swap, which is tough for a winner and one of the best strategic players to do.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, I would like for them to align, but that's asking for so much. That's asking for both of them to survive probably multiple tribal councils.
Yeah, which is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Considering that JT left his whole team stranded.
Exactly. Well, if his whole team drowns, then they might just merge.
And then, wow, that got so morbid. And then they kill a goat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he kills the goat. He's got enough food for himself. He puts them on a raft, pushes them back to America, and he wins.
He becomes the new Stephanie and just lives on a tribe of his own.
Exactly. And that's how Sandra finally loses the game. Let's see here. We have Jack Conroy. Do you think anyone will actually find the idol next episode? And if so, who? Next episode. We talked about, that who we think it'll be, but I think somebody's finding it.
I think he's finding it because they're showing the clue, and that clue is so distinct, and it sounds like that can only happen in one challenge. So, if you know exactly where it is, you're going to grab it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I think an idol is going to start existing next episode.
And we're going to get rolling on Game Changer. Like he said, Jeff said it was Jaws. The first 2 episodes, it starts off where everybody's a little quiet, and then they just start going crazy. Mm-hmm. Somebody finding an idol would certainly pick things up for every player. We have a Naj Chingavi. Just a couple quick questions. Malcolm seemed very cocky in pregame, but it hasn't translated to the episodes yet. Why? Of the controversial event that Jeff Probst talked about on Facebook Live.
I don't know what that controversial event is going to be. Malcolm, I think he is cocky, but he does a very good job of not being obnoxious about it. I think he does think he's going to do very well, but what's so interesting about Malcolm is that he's not super obvious in showing how good of a player he is. And I think that's part of what makes him a very good player. I think he's still very cocky.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it translated to the episode. I thought he was cocky there. So I think it translated like you do. What is this controversial event? What are we talking about? I don't know what this is. I didn't watch this.
I don't remember Jeff's Facebook Live, but if that has anything to do with, I think I texted it to you, Jeff Varner, when everyone was posting their favorite Survivor memories, Jeff Varner said, mine is yet to air, assuming, so it's implied that it happens in the season. But then he goes on to say something very odd and uses the word traumatic, like a event may be traumatic, and that was a very weird word to use. And he wasn't being very funny. He was smiling, but it didn't seem like it was very funny. So I don't know what's coming. It's very odd, and it seems like it's going to be something dark that was going to happen on an otherwise funny, intense season.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know. Jeff Varner is a troll, and he loves it. So I'm not sure. I'm excited. I'm excited. We have Puppy Paws 245. Do you think Sandra and JT will work together to protect each other because they're both winners, or they go against each other like Sandra and Tony did?
I think they'll go against each other.
Yeah.
Sandra has proven that. Well, she wanted to work with Winner, the greatest 7 seconds ever of the Threat Alliance. Sandra and Tony were going to work together, but it sounds like JT is going to piss them off, and if Sandra gets pissed off, she's going to just trailblaze him until he goes home.
That's about what she does. Wences Acosta, this is a little sidetrack, but compliment to Alexa. You're like the best friend every gay man wants to talk about Survivor and guys on Survivor.
Wow, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, because I got some mean comments last time, so thank you for the nice comment. Not from you. I got mean comments from other people.
Where did that other comment go? I wanted to read it. It's gone. I don't know. Maybe they deleted it. I lost it.
The one about me hating Tony?
What?
The one about me hating Tony?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one was funny. I was waiting for you to read that one. Well, it's not funny because I don't hate Tony.
That was terrible. They called you so many names. All right, Zach Abrams. Am I the only one that thought the chicken naming was hilarious with them arguing which one should be Monica? Just missed it the first time, to be honest. Let's see. We have Jacob Hill, first-time poster. My bootless means I have 5 points because he has Sierra at 20 and Tony at 14. Yes, that's correct. Anybody else who's confused on it? So that's a good example. Zach Abrams. I hope Debbie stays around for a long time because she is comedy gold. But on a serious note, how long do you think Debbie will last? Because I see her going early merge.
I see her lasting longer than we expect her to. I don't know. I mean, I think she goes right before the merge.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
She lasted longer
that's what I'm thinking too.
than I expected in her first go around. But I hope she stays on because everyone's hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, she is comedy gold if you wanna call it that. I think it's just gonna be
stupid. She's not stupid. She's smart. She's just odd.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's like a brilliant person. We know that based on everything she's ever done. But like, I just think like with Debbie, it's gonna be when is it convenient for these people to just get rid of Debbie? Like nobody's looking at her threat to win, and I don't think anybody necessarily needs Debbie. So I think it's just going to be kind of like, okay, let's get rid of Debbie.
Yeah, like we lost the challenge, now let's just get it out of the way now.
Exactly. We got Squire Whitney, my dream final 3, Michaela, Sandra, Varner, nightmare final 3, Ozzy, Ty, JT. Sandra and Varner both make final 3, man. That would be insane.
Ozzy, Ty, JT is a nightmare?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Oh, I'd like to know why.
It'd be interesting how they got there. That's for sure.
My nightmare's already over because the Cerise Sierra can officially not happen anymore.
Exactly. So we're all good on that. We don't have the spelling errors. And with Cherie, I mean, doesn't even matter. Everybody should just start calling her that. And then it's not even like their name.
Debbie is the reason that Cerie doesn't win the season. I will be so unhappy.
All right, these are the last 2 YouTube comments. It's Johnny Talks Sports, Philly boy, poor Miami, Florida first round exit.
Oh. Did you see the Miami shirt? Is that where that came from? Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, they know that Will and I both went to Miami as well. So did Alexa. Okay. So they know that we all went to Miami.
Spoiler alert, I also went to Miami.
Yeah, in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah,
otherwise, she just really liked the shirt.
I just loved this shirt. Yeah, no, that was sad.
No, we'll go in the second round. We're going to get killed by Kansas. I think we could beat Michigan. Moving on. And then the last one, Johnny Talks Sports. Who do you anticipate will get the most airtime this week? And I think it's still going to be Sandra.
Yeah. As long as Sandra's here, she's getting all the airtime.
Yeah, and JT seems like now it's like Sandra and her adversary get the most screen time.
Yeah, whoever Sandra decides
her
to
adversary this week. Yeah. I just want to read. Let's see here. We have like 2 more. Caitlin Dillon says, "Oh well." T-Rex first said yes. Cambodia went back to 2 tribes and Wu went out, and they only did it for 1 boot, which was very weird. They only did it for 1.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Weird. Caitlin Dillon, I have a bad feeling for the next few episodes for Malcolm. Being put on Sandra's tribe again can't be good for his game. I kind of agree.
Yeah, I am nervous about everyone on that tribe. I don't think any of them are safe, except possibly Michaela, but who knows?
Yeah.
I'm surprised Michaela and Sandra don't butt heads. That's why Michaela's got to keep her mouth shut.
It seems like Michaela and Sandra are almost so similar it might work.
Yeah.
They're so enraged, so vocal.
Consistently angry.
Yeah. And we got the last one here is John Vikongas, and this is a fun one to end on. Worst game changers poker face, Ty or Michaela?
Ooh. I think I'm going with Ty.
You know, I'm going to go Michaela because Michaela was actively trying to have a better poker face and sucked at it, and Ty I don't think was actively trying.
I think you could watch the screws in Ty's brain trying to compute what had just happened. That's true. It wasn't a poker face, but in terms of just overall expressions, oh my gosh, it was so funny. And how long did that last? 7 seconds? That was awkward.
It was long. It was ridiculous. I loved it. But that's the last comment. So we made it through our Game Changers episode 2 predictions and power rankings episode.
We did it.
We did it. So
Phil and fill in.
I actually put you as Phil and Alexa in the description this time, so you have.
I saw.
Yeah.
Well, thank heavens, I have moved on up.
There you go. So maybe we'll keep it going, But you got to keep the rhyming. If you you need to change your name. That's really what it comes down to.
I know. I was telling my roommates about it, and they said I need to change my name to Jill.
That's it. That'd be simple. It's kind of like Alexa. They're similar.
Yeah, same difference.
Same difference. So. Those are our power rankings. Eliminator challenge. If you're part of it, make sure you get it in. Make sure you get that Eliminator challenge in. I know a lot of the people who've been following us since the beginning, we normally read like every single comment, but I'm telling you, we had like 130 comments or something. So we can't read all of them. We can't sorry, Giovanni and Gamer Girl, Wences. I know you guys comment every time and you leave like 12 comments. I know. I tried to pick through. If I missed one of your great ones, I apologize, but I tried. And then it to us because God, that would suck if you lose because you didn't put it in.
That would be bad.
But Alexa, go ahead, take the wheel. Come on.
I know. I'm taking the reins on this. Give us a follow on Twitter at Phil and Will. Give us a subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. Leave a comment. Tell your friends, and we will be back after the episode Wednesday night.
Try to do East Coast time since Alexa's on the East Coast. So East Coasters, you finally get your moment this year. Like it's always like you have to watch it the next day because Will and I would always do it after West Coast. But now East Coasters, you have your chance, I think.
Yeah, I need to get my sleep after a period of time. So I'm here to help you guys. Go East Coast.
There you go. So that's it. We'll see you Wednesday.